Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me to another episode of Epic Picks. Epic Pick number 9 by Dave. Thank you so much, Dave, for sponsoring the video. I appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want, of course. Leave a comment, all that good stuff. I wanted to thank Dave, of course, for requesting this. We're going to have a little of classical music, movie themed epic here, over 8 minutes. So let's see what Dave has for us here. Dave's epic request. It says, originally had planned on an Eric Wolfgang Korngold Max Steiner Bernhard Herrmann Lalo Schifrin movie theme marathon from the 1940s, 50s and 60s, but with the new hopefully temporary setup, this will have to do. About the setup, I guess just today, as you may have seen, all marathons got unblocked literally at the same time. I was going insane, but this last week was just exhausting. I don't know if I'm gonna still do marathons after this. It was just so jarring to deal with these copyrights, and it's always the same. The copy with a marathon, you deal with 5 different companies, and it's just like, I don't know if I can do it. So we'll see. Let's hope for the best. But for now, I think I'm pretty comfortable where I am. So let's see. So today we will do Max Steiner's movie score from 1948's The Adventures of Don Juan. The movie starred Errol Flynn. Max Steiner was nominated 20 times and had 3 wins from music scores from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, though not for this. I fell in love with this score at least 50 years ago. Wow. I can't believe it's going to sound amazing. Had it on album, on CD. There are many lengths. I want the 933 versions right here of the album titled Captain Blood and other classic movie themes of Errol Flynn by the National Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Charles Gerhardt. We got him right here. I found it, and yet then you said if not available on Spotify or YouTube, it is there. It was on Spotify. Actually, 2 versions if you want to listen to them. Just for your information, on this song's version, it was produced by George Korngold, whose father Eric Wolfgang Korngold composed the Oscar-winning 1938 score for The Adventures of Robin Hood, also starring Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn movies had some magnificent scores attached to them. I hope you enjoy. And he says, doubt this gets many views. Well, let's hope otherwise. Let's hope it gets a lot of views. That's what this channel is for, and people know it already. Let's go with this. I got the right version right here, and let's give it up for Charles Gerhardt's Adventures of Don Juan. Here we go. Woo! What a beautiful fanfare. It has the theme. It has a little bit of a Spanish vibe in there. Beautiful descending run here. A beautiful scale. I love the theme. It's very, very positive. It reminds me, of course, of the music that I grew up with, like John Williams, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Star Wars. But this is from 1948, if I'm not mistaken. So I love, and I'm obviously familiar with Gerhard Herrmann because of Alfred Hitchcock, Brian De Palma movies, beautiful. I love the flavor that's injected here, you know, the Spanish kind of like and they used it for Captain Blood, so it's a piratey kind of thing. I love what Hans Zimmer did with Pirates of the Caribbean, because he also used that, you know, that fanfare. Very, very cool. Just 46 seconds in, I'm already in love with this. So yeah, let's keep going. Very, very much Gustav Holst. I hear it all the time. I hear a lot of Gustav Holst. The Mars, you know. Again, John Williams obviously borrowed a lot from there. It's such good music. I mean, why would you not use it in cinema, right? Was it a violin? Sprinkles. Oh, arpeggios, beautiful. Such a curious theme. It's like, I love that the oboe is such a curious instrument. It almost invokes curiosity, that but it's also obviously the way it's played. I love this. It has a very like, almost like, I don't know if I want to call it Italian, or I don't know. It's not Spanish. It's more like Italian, almost like it has this Italian vibe to it. I don't know why, but it does. It's a beautiful theme. It could be almost like a love theme, and then it gets louder. You know, he's making a point. There's like this little interlude, and then it gets really like fleshed out. I love that. Beautiful, just wonderful. And I love that this music is so timeless. And even if we listen to a score, you know, like Star Wars, who came out in 1977, and then John Williams had to kind of like take his work from the 1970s and apply it to into 1999, and came up with a new theme for another trilogy, and then in 2015 another trilogy, but it still has that same flavor of, which is this, you know, but he comes up with just beautiful themes for characters, and he kind of fleshes them out, and I love that, you know. And I think they were already doing that back then. This was written for a specific person or a specific character in the film, and every time that character shows up, the theme comes up, and that way you kind of like identify people with also musical cues, just like Star Wars. Everybody had their theme. Leia had a musical theme, Luke had a theme, the theme of the Force, Yoda had a theme. It's a beautiful thing. And I think other people, other composers followed, Superman. Every time Superman shows up, you hear this theme. It's a wonderful thing how music can just drive the music into a different, completely different stratosphere, and through music you could watch I love when movies have just this used to be big on DVD and Blu-ray. It got a little bit lazy, but when you could just watch the movie with the score without any dialogue, it was a wonderful thing. Wow, the bells. Wow, the bells. Something tragic happened. There's the glimpse of hope. I love how every instrument has their different meaning in a cinematic, setting. Lower strings feel heavy. The trumpets give you, I don't know, Marley. It just comes in. Hey, welcome there. Yeah. So trumpets are very positive. They're very strong, and they're happy and success. And you can, I mean, it also depends on the minor and the major scales and chords, you know, because they do evoke different feelings. But I love how in a movie you can almost notice when something happens and you put a certain music to it. It's, you know, there's the glimpse of hope, you know, suddenly. And it's just beautiful how every instrument has their voice, and we've had it like this for, you know, like Dave said, you know, 50 years and longer. You know, it's just like a wonderful thing to listen to music, and it gets you excited, especially when you go to the movies and you hear it, you know. And there's new masters, you know, new masters like Hans Zimmer, and who uses different sounds, but like, I don't know if you saw Dune or Dune 2, and it's amazing, the soundtrack, how effective it was, and different techniques he's using, but obviously always hanging on to the classics. But I mean, going a little bit further with different instruments, and it's so cool. All right, let's keep going. We got another 3 minutes to go. Let's check it out. The curious instrument. Wow, that is that brankum, you know, like it's such a classical thing to do. And I mean, yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, these masterpieces can be interpreted a million ways, whether you know about music or whether you don't, whether you know, you can use it for a scene. I'm sure there's not every director knows about music or reads music, or he just trusts the composer that he's going to choose the right theme and the right music for the right scene. And they have a, you know, I've seen some great documentaries or behind the making of, you know, Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Minority Report and I don't know, Black Hawk Down. The way he wanted to be like, okay, I want, you know, the U.S. Army to feel more industrial, more electronic versus the tribal aspect, you know, of the I think it was set in Africa. It was just, it's so cool what you can do with music and how many, like, all the feelings that, I mean, it's just a wonderful thing, you know, like for example, Titanic, the soundtrack of that movie, and then it just like, I don't know, it's just a wonderful thing to have music like this. And I mean, there's people that you could play this music to and they wouldn't know what to do with it, but I guess it goes so well because there is a lot of us who love movies, you know, and we just know exactly what to feel and what to expect when we hear this kind of music, and we know where to put it, and that's just wonderful. So again, this was a wonderful piece. Dave, thank you so much. Even though it didn't make it into the marathon, I know, you know, that would have been an amazing marathon. But again, like I said, you know, I really have to think about it. It's just very draining on the mind, and not just filming the marathon, which is pretty intense because it's 5 songs. It's just the whole thing that comes after. I post it, it gets blocked. I have to write an email to this person, to that person, to this. They say no. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that anymore. It's just mentally draining. It's affecting my mental health, honestly. Last week was a nightmare because 13 or about 12, 13 marathons got blocked, and I can't deal with that sort of stress, because it is, you pay your hard-earned money for something, and then it gets taken away out of my control, and that kills me. It was just very, very hard. So I'm happy that they're all back in place. They're all available. They're all on YouTube. If you haven't heard, even the ones that already had views, some of them only had 5 views and were there in YouTube jail for like a week. It was just very, very tough. I literally had to go and see a doctor. Like, I was not doing well. It's just like, you know, it's not good, you know, especially when you feel that you owe something to people, you know, and then something like that happens. But again, I'm completely fine. Thank you so much for all your support, for all your patience, everyone. I know, Dave, you were one of the ones affected with your marathon of the 90s grunge. I hope it's getting the views it deserves. It's a beautiful, beautiful marathon. I hope you can watch it, or maybe you watched it on Patreon. But again, thank you so much, everyone who watches this video, and who also, you know, if you're a subscriber or a supporter, you know, I hope you understand, and I hope you had a lot of fun with this video. Thank you so much. I'll see you all in the next one.